joining us. We now move on. In latest updates, EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen announced that the bloc will pause a planned package of tariffs on US goods to give negotiations a chance. On the other hand, US and Vietnam have agreed to start a trade agreement talks following Trump's pause on the tariffs. Vietnam's Deputy Prime Minister Ho Duc Phoc emphasised the need for a mutual trade framework, with both countries trading nearly $150 billion last year. US Trade Representative Greer confirmed discussions on strengthening economic ties. Vietnam offered to cut tariffs on US goods to 0%, but the White House deemed it insufficient. Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, US, called President Trump pause tariff on tariffs an open door for negotiation in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam on Thursday. Meanwhile, Indonesia's Finance Minister Sri Mulyani Indrawati had said that planned US tariffs could reduce Indonesia's potential growth by 0.3% to 0.5%. She added that Indonesia welcomed the 90-day pause on tariffs as it was provided an opportunity to mitigate or avoid the downside risks from the tariff to economic growth. She also said that the country would use that time to come up with a framework of cooperation that was mutually respected by other countries. Indrawati commented on the recent pressure on Indonesia's currency, the rupiah, which is at all-time lows, and said that it was temporary, that the government remains focused on indicators such as corporate debt and government-to-debt GDP. On the other hand, Taiwan's foreign minister said on Thursday that Trump's 90-day pause on most tariffs give Taiwan breathing room for more in-depth talks, as the island hopes to take advantage of the huge US market. Taiwan had been due to be hit with a 32% tariff, sending its stock market plummeting, though the key semiconductor industry was excluded. Here's what the foreign minister had to say.
现在多了90天时间，我们可以更详细深入的来谈台美的经贸合作。那我们希望这不只是一个被动的回应的川普的对等关税，我们希望能够开启台美在经贸关系上，特别是赖总统提到的台湾投资美国队。那我们希望能够借由美国的庞大的市场。 他们有很好的科技、资金跟人才，那结合成台美联队这样一个联合舰队的方式。我们现在已经有传达，那对方也表示有接到我们这个的讯息，那也有回应所以有关于详细的谈判的内容跟方式我们就透过现在双边建立的。
Thailand's finance minister stated that Thailand was prepared more economic stimulus focused on creating jobs, adding that the pause would give officials more time to prepare a response. We want
to negotiate. We want to talk. We appreciate that you have brought this pause on so-called reciprocal tariffs, and we in turn are now pausing our proposed countermeasures in order that we have the maximum space to consult with our member states, consult with our industry, and negotiate with the US. We're ready to make deals.
We're now joined by Dr. Jayjit Bhattacharya, President of the CDEPR, located here in New Delhi, to discuss this further. Dr. Bhattacharya, obviously this whole tariff saga has spanned a week, over a week now, has moved from over 10% tariffs to all over the world to now a base 10% for the next 90 days for most countries apart from China. What do you think of this move from Donald Trump? Do you think this was his plan all along, and do you think people and the state of the global economy is going to be better because of this move?
So I really don't have an insight into what was President Trump's vision, or what was his plan, or what does he really plan to do in the next 90 days. But the impact is that it is not assuaging the real economy in that sense. So the stock market might bounce back with the bet that there will be a more aligned set of decisions in the next 90 days and post that. But if you look at supply chains, there is an uncertainty in terms of goods getting stuck. So if goods are sent out in the next 90 days with the assumption that the 10% tariff will hold and there won't be any additional tariff, if goods are supplied on the 85th day and it's still at high seas and it lands on the US shores on the 91st day, what will the tariff be is unknown. And so there is going to be still a real impact on the global GDP. There still will be headwinds, or what others are trying to call it as a recessionary pushback that will happen to the global growth because of the uncertainty that's got unleashed. Now that uncertainty is now going to exist for 90 days. So is anyone going to set up new manufacturing plants? No. Are they going to set up new logistical supply chain solutions? No. Will they set up new warehouses? No. None of these actions or activities will happen. There'll be no reach out to a bank for funding for new capacities to be built up for global trade. So there is going to be a freeze for the next 90 days. What will essentially happen is what was planned to be exported to US or imported from US will quickly be done in the next 90 days. Maybe a bit of a stocking up will done, but they will make sure that the stocks become zero by the time the 90 days are over. So we still have a very detrimental effect of the steps that have been taken and the fact that there is still no clarity as to when there will be an equilibrium in terms of global tariffs. And so it's going to impact global trade very significantly.
Dr. Jayajit Bhattacharya, thank you so much for joining us. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. That is all we have time for, and we will continue.